welcome to this edition of UCentral News. I'm Edmond Jones.
And I'm Jackson Rowbottom. And let me tell you what, it has been an absolutely whimsical Wednesday, and the temperature has been up and down like crazy. And CJ is going to bring us more on what we're going to be expecting over the next week. CJ, what do you have for us?
Well, that's right, Jackson. It definitely has been a whimsical Wednesday, but it's also been a windy Wednesday as well. As you can see here, sitting in Edmond at about 56 degrees under breezy conditions. The winds are blowing north at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, but we could see some gusts of at least 35 miles per hour with these winds. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. The humidity dropped down significantly than what we had yesterday, down to about 50% as opposed to 95 we had yesterday. And it is feeling like it is 53 with that wind chill out here. So overall, a very cool, very dry day here in Edmond, Oklahoma. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weather headlines coming up for this week. We can expect colder weather coming this week. We can expect lower temps as well. We have a couple of fronts that are going to be making their way through the state. However, coming later this week, we could see some warm days as well, as we do have a dry line that's going to be moving in from Mexico. It's going to move through Oklahoma, and it's going to raise temperatures for the couple of days that it is around. And we also are going to see that wind sticking around throughout most of the week, so the winds are going to stay relatively high going into the weekend and next week. So guys, we will definitely be keeping watch here at UCentral. I'm going to go ahead and throw it back to Jackson and Eden at the desk.
Thank you very much, CJ. And with tornado season coming up, it's important that you take the necessary steps to knowing your campus safety plan. UCentral's Jaden Ford has the story.
It is now April, and for a lot of us, we know that means tornado season. The Edmond metro area is expecting severe weather in the coming days for the first time this year and has everyone on campus preparing. It is very important to know when and where you can take shelter here at UCO. And thanks to the Director of Emergency Management, Norman Neves, I got some insight on primary and secondary tornado shelters that are located all around campus.
The university's official stance is we will provide a shelter space for any UCO faculty, student, or staff that is engaged in on-campus activities at any time. Okay. However, we are not going to turn somebody away if they show up and want to go into one of our shelters in time of severe weather. So that's kind of our official stance.
You may have just entered a classroom or even a building when you notice red booklets as well as green signs that read secondary tornado shelters.
We bring students in when they first move in. They have their meetings with their RAs, and they're told this is where we would go in case of a severe weather. And they're told that information. And if you go into a classroom, you've seen the red binders. The red binders have a sticker on them that says, this is where you are, this is where your nearest shelter is. So for example, if you go into education, it'll say you're in the education building, your nearest severe weather shelter is the library basement. So that's another way you can find out where you would go.
From Edmond, Oklahoma, Jaden Ford, UCentral News.
Today, many Oklahoma candidate hopefuls headed over to the Capitol for the state's 3-day filing period. This is the first step for many as they plan to embark on their respective journeys. And UCentral's Shannon Schwa has the latest breakdown on what this means for Oklahoma. Let's take a look.
The 3-day candidate filing period started earlier today, with many potential future candidates flooding to the Capitol. Candidates for state, federal, and local offices began lining up early to submit their paperwork. State election officials state that they are expecting between 500 to 600 candidates to file for office in the next 3 days. Aside from that, Oklahoma has 2 seats open for the Senate. The Senate race is typically staggered, but both are open due to Senator Jin Inhofe's announced plans to resign, only 2 years into his 6-year term. From Edmond, Oklahoma, I'm Shannon Chua, UCentral News.
And suspected Brooklyn subway shooter Frank James has been arrested by patrol officers in the East Village neighborhood of New York City, 3 law enforcement officials tell CNN. The suspect fired at least 3 times into the Brooklyn station, wearing a gas mask to ventilate the gas from a canister he threw into the station prior to the shooting. An intense manhunt was led in an effort to catch James, who is believed to be the renter of a U-Haul recovered in Brooklyn, whose keys were found at the scene. Officials say that the motive is still unknown.
And Ukrainian officials now say no evacuation corridors will be open today. Russian troops allegedly created a dangerous situation along those escape routes today. 18,000 people are still waiting to be evacuated, and Ukraine continues to bolster their resistance against Russia.
And here in Edmond, we're beginning to see more festivals popping up throughout the spring. Edmond Vibes just held their first event of the year, and UCentral's Micah Chandler has the story.
Vibes returned to Edmond this past weekend. Local artists of all kinds were involved, including music, fine arts, and dancing. At nearly every block, there was something new for the community to explore. Food vendors took the opportunity to grow their businesses, and here's what one vendor had to say.
We're so excited every month to partner with Commonplace to sell some pops.
This event doesn't only feature local artists, but stores as well. Some of the stores had their furry friends at the door to greet those walking in. Edmond's Vibes takes place every first Thursday of each month, from April to October. You can visit edmondvibes.org for ways to get involved in your community. From downtown Edmond, I'm Micah Chandler, UCentral News.
Thank you, Micah. And the UCO Native American Student Association is collaborating with Oklahoma City University to host their spring powwow. This event will be held this Saturday at the Oklahoma City University Freed Wellness Center from 2 to 7. Join them for a dance, dinner, and a grand entry.
And volunteer registration is now open for the 23rd annual UCO Endeavor Games that will be held June 9th through the 12th. Volunteer shifts include assisting officials, athletes, and staff during check-ins, van driving, and more. To register and for more information, visit the Endeavor Games website.
And Turnpike turmoil in Oklahoma City continues. There will be an informational town hall meeting about how the planned Turnpike expansion could affect property owners in southeast Oklahoma City. That meeting will be held tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Rock Church on 6801 South Anderson Road. And with final season is slowly creeping up, UCO Stress Pause is a way for students to decompress every week. UCentral's Shelby McAfee will tell you all you need to know about this program.
Stress Pause is back in the Max Chambers Library after a long disruption due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This weekly event is hosted by UCO Center for Counseling and Wellbeing and the Human Animal Link of Oklahoma, often referred to as HALO. HALO is a nonprofit organization that provides therapy dogs to communities in times of transition, crisis, or just everyday stress.
So when I'm having a big test week, I do like to go there because whenever you're there, you don't have to worry about studying or anything. You just get to focus on hanging out with the dogs.
All of the dogs are certified through the HALO organization to make sure they're able to handle the needs of the communities that they serve. If you are interested in attending Stress Pause, the event is held every Thursday from 3 to 5 p.m. on the 4th floor of the Max Chambers Library.
They just love you, so they don't judge anything about you.
From Edmond, Oklahoma, I'm Shelby McAfee, UCentral News.
Thank you very much, Shelby. And when we come back, get ready to break out that knight's armor and peasant garb as the medieval fair goes to Norman. Don't go anywhere.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
In the land of wonder and awe, you won't believe you see what you saw. Where there's something to do for young and for old, where stories are written and then they're retold. Visit travelok.com today. Come see for yourself and come out to play.
And welcome back to UCentral News. And an annual Norman tradition has come and gone, and the Medieval Fair is a fun event for this time of the year. UCentral's Kelly Merca has more on this.
The Norman Medieval Fair returned with full force this year. The 45th annual fair hosted vendors of all types, from shopping for themed clothing and decorations to knife throwing and games. Guests can get the full experience of an outdoor marketplace. Dr. Reed Weber, a co-advisor of UCO's Medieval Society, gave us a little background of the booth that has been an attraction at the fair for 26 years.
And we pride ourselves in creating an educational experience at the fair to teach about the real Middle Ages, that people can come and witness, learn something, and take some information from the fair. So all the projects here are student-made, including the window behind me that students worked on over 4 months to create, and are here now to talk about it and kind of teach people as they come into the pavilion to learn about the fair.
Edward helps Jacob every year for those who want to try the ladder challenge.
Well, I run Jacob's ladder. I don't know where Jacob went, but he left his ladder behind, and people don't know how to run it very well, so I just have to keep people getting up it.
The fair was hosted at Reeves Park on OU's campus.
Thank you, Kelly. And it was a pretty gloomy morning, but the sun kind of came out to play a little bit
Right.
today.
It was pretty gloomy this morning, but what we can expect going into the next couple of days, we can expect some more sunshine as well as lower temperatures. So let's take a look at our weather headlines coming up for this week. We can expect some cooler weather this week as we're going to see a couple of fronts make their way through Oklahoma. However, mixed in with those colder days, we are going to see a couple of warmer ones making their way out as we're going to see a dry line make its way through Oklahoma. Only that's going to stick around for just a couple of days, and then we'll go right back to our normal temperatures. And the wind is going to be sticking around for a majority of this week, so that is definitely something to be aware of going into this week to plan ahead for. Let's go ahead and take a look at current conditions around the state of Oklahoma real quick. And as you can see, it's pretty much most of the same, sitting in Oklahoma City at about 57 degrees. Tulsa up there sitting at 60. Idabel sitting down there at 63. The warmest that we have here down in the south part of Oklahoma is Ardmore, sitting about 69 degrees. So overall, a very cool day for most of Oklahoma. We can expect those winds to stick around through tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we can expect coming into tonight for Edmond. We can expect the low to be about 40 degrees under clear conditions, and those winds are going to die down just a bit, blowing north at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And the humidity is also going to come down as well, sitting about 20%. And we aren't going to see any rain tonight. So hopefully tonight is going to be a very cool night, a very peaceful night here in Oklahoma. Let's go ahead and take a look at tomorrow's lows for the state. And as you can see, pretty much most of the same for the state. We have a couple of temperatures below freezing. You see Guymon up there, 27 degrees. And for the most rest of the part of the state, we can stick around the low 30s to mid 40s as well. Oklahoma City sitting at about 40 degrees being our low. Clinton 32, Tulsa 36. So it's going to be pretty cold tonight as that colder air starts to make its way through Oklahoma. We can see temps start to drop going into tonight and tomorrow. However, tomorrow we are going to see those temperatures start to rise back up into the 70s for most of the state. Oklahoma City 71, McAllister 72, Lawton 76. So it is going to get pretty warm tomorrow. However, that wind is going to stick around as well. Let's take a look at our daily forecast coming up for you tomorrow here in Edmond. 7 a.m. it's going to be a cool 40 degrees under sunny skies. It's going to be pretty cold tomorrow morning, so you might want to grab a jacket or a scarf on your way to school or work. It's going to be pretty breezy as well. Going into noon, we are going to see that temperature start to rise up again back into the 60s. We could see a little bit of cloud coverage, but not too much. Mostly just partly cloudy skies. And then going into the evening, 7 p.m., that's when we're going to reach our highest temperature of the day, being about 70 degrees. And it's going to stay relatively clear throughout the night. Let's go ahead and take a look at our 7-day forecast coming up for you here in Oklahoma. And going into Thursday, you can see those temperatures will rise going into Friday. However, on Friday night, we are going to see a cold front make its way through Oklahoma, and with it is going to bring some Arctic air with it, so that's going to lower our temperatures. However, we are going to see another dry front move in on Sunday, which is going to raise our temperatures back in. We do also have a chance for some storms on Sunday and Sunday night. However, it is a very relatively low chance, only about 20%. And then going into next week, we can expect temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. Lows, on the other hand, we can expect them to go down to about 40s to the mid 50s as well. So guys, overall, a very nice and very pleasant week. Thankfully, we didn't see any severe weather yesterday, and we aren't going to see much of it coming into the next week. We can expect a lot of sunshine and a lot of wind as well. So guys, that's all I have for weather. I'm going to throw it back to Jackson and Eden at the desk.
Thank you very much, CJ. And when we come back, our man in the music, Tyler Lurch, has more with the Central music scene. Stay tuned.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Hey, bro.
Hello, welcome to the Central Music Scene. I'm Tyler Lurch, and I've been a musician for over 10 years. I'm also involved with the local music scene here in OKC with my own band, Tar Creek. I'll be bringing you all the latest news concerning artists, shows, releases, as well as national music news. Let's get right into it. First for today, grunge supergroup Third Secret has released their album. The album features Kirsten Novoselic from Nirvana, Matt Cameron from Pearl Jam, and Kim Thayil from Soundgarden, along with other members. The band released their album without much pre-release publicity and came as a surprise on Monday. If you're looking for some laid-back grunge to listen to, be sure to give the album a listen. It's available on all streaming services right now. Second for today, Post Malone's manager Dre London announced on Instagram that Posty's album will be coming this coming month. There hasn't been an official album name or track listing released yet, and this date is still yet to be set, but we will keep you updated as the story develops. And third for today, Camila Cabello released her album, Familia, last Friday. This is Camila's third official album and features Bom Bom, which was released as a single featuring Ed Sheeran. If you're looking for those summer beach vibes, be sure to check out the album. It's available on all streaming services right now. And finally for today, Knocked Loose will be playing Beer City Music Hall with Koyo, Movements, and Kubla Khan this Sunday. Knocked Loose recently drew popularity with the rise in streams of their song Counting Worms, which was recently a popular TikTok sound. The show is in support of their EP release, A Tear in the Fabric of Life, which is one of my favorite releases of 2021. Be on the lookout for ticket updates, and for more information on the show, you can visit Beer City Music Hall's website. If you're unable to go to the show, be sure to check out all 4 of these bands on social media as well as streaming platforms. Well, that's all I have time for today. Be sure to check in next week for more local and national music news. Back.
Thank you, Tyler, and we'll hear more from the world of sports from Devin Bajek after the break, so don't go anywhere.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision. Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent.
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
In the land of wonder and awe, you won't believe you see what you saw. Where there's something to do for young and for old, where stories are written and then they're retold. Visit travelok.com today. Come see for yourself and come out to play.
Welcome back, Bronco fans. I'm Devin Bajek, and this is your sports update. UCO baseball had a home game yesterday afternoon against the red-headed stepchild Northeastern State. The Chos ended up losing the game, most in part to the 7 runs given up before the Chos even came up to bat. The Chos got the game to within 5 in the second inning with a score of 8-3, but NSU had a 4-run third inning that was the proverbial nail in the coffin for our Chos. The Chos can take pride in the fact that despite the loss, they won the season series 2-1. The loss drops UCO to 8-8 at home, while sporting a 14-7 record on the road. Gives them a total of 22-15 on the season. They'll be looking to improve on that. As they don't have much time to dwell on it, they'll be traveling to Maryville, Missouri for a 3-game series starting Thursday against 14-22 Northwest Missouri State. The UCO softball team is partnering with the Make-A-Wish organization. UCentral's Brooke Niver got to learn more about the fundraiser.
UCO teamed up with the Make-A-Wish Foundation to raise money for children with critical illnesses. The softball team has started an online fundraiser to grant a wish and to spark some joy in a child's life.
The goal of it is just to help the child feel like a normal kid. So much of their life is dedicated to going to doctor's appointments, surgeries, and just dealing with the stress of being terminally ill or critically ill.
To go with the online fundraiser, the team is doing Workout for Wishes, where they design their own workout according to their adopted child's treatment plan.
Doing each sport, instead of just a basic workout like 10 sit-ups, is actually going to do a workout specific to their sport. So for example, tennis is doing 10 backhands. We're going to do like 5 pulls, 5 home runs, something along those lines.
The softball team is having a lot of fun while raising money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The team is encouraging those to donate and help make a wish come true. From Edmond, Oklahoma, I'm Brooke Niver with UCentral News.
If you want to learn more or make a donation, make sure to head to secure2.wish.org. UCO currently ranks 3rd in money raised with over $2,000 raised so far. The softball team does have business to be taken care of as they enter the weekend play 34-6, and they have 2 sets of doubleheaders Friday at 2 p.m. against NSU and noon Saturday against Rogers State. Keep dominating at home, ladies. The UCO women's tennis team has had a dominant season so far, compiling a record of 11-1, and they have had a busy. They're going to have a busy weekend ahead of them as they play Fort Hays State Thursday, Nebraska Kearney Friday, and they travel to Angelo State Saturday. Seniors Adele Bianu Abu Delina and Nikki Boyer both will be honored in their match, their last home match Friday. They both have 124 career wins apiece. Congrats on a great career, ladies. The Brooklyn Nets were led by Kyrie Irving, who had 34 points last night. He went 12 of 15 from the field, accumulated 12 assists in the 115-108 victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kevin Durant had 25 points, 11 rebounds. Bruce Brown dropped 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Nets secure the 7th seed in a matchup with the Celtics, and the Cavs wait for the winner of the Hawks and Hornets tonight. The Minnesota Timberwolves, however, they beat the LA Clippers 109-104. The win secures the 7th seed and a matchup with the Memphis Grizzlies. The Clippers wait and see who wins between the Spurs and Pelicans. The T-Wolves had big performances from Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell, both combining for 59 points. There's been a lot of controversy on social media about the way the Timberwolves, Patrick Beverley in particular, reacted to the first playoff victory for Minnesota since 2004. Alyssa Nakin made Major League Baseball history last night as the first female coach on the field in a regular season game. The 31-year-old Nakin took over first base during the third inning after third base coach Anton Richardson was ejected. Nakin was greeted by a warm ovation from the crowd at Oracle Park. Nakin had this to say following the game: "I think we're all inspirations, doing everything that we do on a day-to-day basis, and I think, yes, this carries a little bit more weight because of the visibility. Obviously, there's a historic nature to it, but again, this is my job." And how about that game, guys? What do you guys feel about that?
I think it's a great thing for the game of baseball. I think having the sport be a bit more inclusive for the female counterparts is going to be, it's going to open up a wider range of audience.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's really cool that she's, breaking the barriers and making a name for herself for sure.
I completely agree. And what we're going to be doing now, we're going to go to break, but afterwards, we're going to have a last look at weather and an Easter egg hunt coming your way.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
And welcome back to UCentral News. We've been seeing a lot of cold weather here in Oklahoma, which really isn't the norm for us here. We're used to seeing a lot of severe thunderstorms and some warmer temperatures. However, what we can expect this week, we can expect more cold temperatures as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at our 7-day forecast one more time. And as you can see, going into Thursday, it's going to rise up. The temperatures are going to go back into the 70s. Going into Friday, we're going to see some 80s. And then going into the weekend, we're going to see another cold front make its way through Oklahoma. And with that cold front, it's going to bring some colder temperatures and some more winds as well, and a chance for some storms on Sunday as well. Only a 20% chance of storms. However, there is a chance there, so we will definitely be monitoring that. And then going into next week, we are going to see some more lower temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. So that's all I have for weather. I'm going to throw it back to Jackson and Eden at the desk.
Thank you, CJ. And it has been a crazy journey with the Wednesday crew. It's actually our last Wednesday show together.
Sad.
It is. It's a sad day, and I've really enjoyed being here with you guys as the semester comes to a close. It's unfortunately the end of our time here as well, but I think we're looking forward to at least taking part again and moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow for another edition of UCentral. I'm Eden Jones.
I'm Jackson Rowbottom.
I'm Devin Bajek.
And for CJ Craig, have a good rest of the night.